It's been 6 months. 6 months since I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. 6 months since my doctor sat me down and said, if you do nothing, you will be dead in 60 days. Basically, 6 months since my entire life changed forever. And when I say forever, that doesn't mean because I'm going to give up and I'm going to die. I still 100% believe I'm going to be the first person in the world to survive stage 4 of this. In fact, I plan to live to be very, very old. The number I've always had in mind was 100. So none of that has changed. But when you hit a big milestone like this, it really gets you thinking, especially since you're like, oh wow, I just tripled the amount of time I was given. If I do nothing, or if the treatment doesn't work, or, if I give up, basically. So the fact that I've tripled that number in 6 months in and I'm still alive makes me very, very grateful for everything I have. Makes me grateful for the fact that I'm alive. Makes me grateful for the fact that I have so many amazing people in my life who love me and support me and encourage me and, go out of their way to help me out. Whether it's, through the GoFundMe or through a fundraiser that some of my friends organized for me. Another friend of mine, she's organizing another fundraiser, not for me, but for research for this type of cancer. I spoke with my oncologist, and he has a foundation that does research on that. So the money's probably going to go to that. And it's just like all that to say, it's like I'm so grateful to have all these people in my life, such as, my sister and my brother in law allowing me to stay here for the last few months. My niece who's always there, wants to spend time with me, loves me and everything. And it's just like, I'm so grateful to have all these people in my life. And as weird as this is going to sound, I'm also grateful not to have certain people in my life, notably my mother. Because it's funny, because, I hear things from my sister when she speaks to my mother and everything. It's like, I really don't care if I've completely detached and it feels really, really good. But my mother is convinced that I'm angry, that I'm upset with her and everything, and eventually it's gonna pass. And I'm just like, she doesn't understand. But I've noticed, like in the last few months, since I've severed the cord, whatever you want to call it, it just feels so much better, so much freer, like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders. And I know this is what I need to keep doing, not necessarily with people, just with things. I need to, I've worked on that a lot in the last few months and I've gotten better at it, but I'm still not the best. You know, not it's not caring. It's surrendering to the process. Knowing that everything's going to work out somehow, even when in the moment it sucks. Because when I look back retroactively at, let's say, the last year of my life, a lot of things sucked, but everything made perfect sense. It's like, a little over a year ago, when I was forced to come back because I thought I might have testicular cancer, everything turned out okay, great, you don't. But then, a couple months later, it turns out I have this kind of cancer. So it was actually really good that I was here. Same for when I was back here, then the plan was, get an online job, go back to Nicaragua, work from there to be with my girlfriend, begin the immigration process. And I just couldn't find a job that would allow me to work from outside Canada. And it's like, it was really frustrating. And then everything happened. It's like, oh, well, I had to stay here. Everything makes sense. That's why it didn't work out. And, everything that happened seems, well, now, not seems, has a reason. I just couldn't see it in the moment. Now I think about it retroactively, everything makes sense. I got a job offer. I'm like, well, it's online, but I can't work from outside Canada. So let me refuse. A couple days later, boom, diagnosis. I can't go anywhere. Now I have a job. And it's a perfect job too. In sales, I've always had a passion for sales. I don't know why. I always loved sales psychology, but the sales process or whatever jobs I could find in sales just weren't a good fit for me. But this is a really good fit because there's a very good opportunity to make money as I get better and better. Even though now I still kind of suck. Well, not really. But I have that perspective because I'm like, oh, I see all these other people who are better. It's like, yeah, but they've been here for 8 years. And like not everyone learns at the same rhythm. And for some reason, when it comes to sales, it's very hard for me, which is strange. I thought it'd be easy because usually I tend to be relatively good at most of the things that I try. But because of all the other skills that I built through, coaching and speaking and, overcoming my fears or falling in love with fear and like that entire process has allowed me to be a very good communicator, a very good, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very easy for me to build friendships, to create connections with people because I've built that character, that version of myself that is very charismatic and I'm a good storyteller and all those things. And I thought that would be good for sales, but turns out it's counterintuitive. Anyway, that's a completely separate topic. The whole point of this video is it's been 6 months, which is why my hair is getting so long. And even though I try to stick it down, it keeps like popping back up because it's just in that weird stage where it's starting to get long, but it's not quite long enough to do anything with it. So I'm stuck in between. And it's like, that's pretty much the only thing that I can do with it that looks somewhat decent and not like I'm an insane, mad scientist or something. Not that it really matters, who cares if people judge me? Like, given the situation, people judging me for my hair is the least of my concerns. But, whatever. So yeah, it's just it's been quite a ride, and I know like at the 6 month mark, like I had no idea what to expect when I started this. But now that I'm here, half a year in, I see like this is going to be a multiple year process, potentially a whole rest of my life process. Not to mean that I'm going to have cancer for my whole life, but it's like this is the beginning of a very major part of my journey. And I don't know what it's going to lead to. It's very frustrating at times, but I know it's going to be for the best. I know that everything happens for a reason because when I look back retroactively at everything that happens, everything worked out perfectly, even though it was frustrating. And right now, when I'm going through that's frustrating, aside from, everything such as having cancer, not having my own apartment, all these things, it's exactly that. It's looking for an apartment and not being able to find one. And it's so frustrating. It's so annoying. But I know on some level, there's a reason why. Everything's going to work out exactly the way it's meant to work out. But in the process, I'm just like, this is so frustrating. I've been looking for months and I just can't find anything. I'm far, so I can't go for visits, and I have to schedule like video visits of apartments. And the last one, I found one really nice. The guy was selling all his furniture. I didn't have anything because I sold everything when I was traveling last year. So I'm like, wow, this is the perfect opportunity. Schedule a video visit. The day that I'm supposed to have the visit, power's out. Crap, I can't do it. Next day, internet's out. Crap, can't do it. Message the guy a couple times. He stops responding. It's been like 4 or 5 days now and he hasn't responded, so at this point it's dead. And I'm just like, why does it have to be so complicated? Why does it have to be so frustrating? But it's only frustrating and complicated because I'm fighting. I know deep down there's a reason why this is happening. Everything is going to work out in the end. It's fine. Yet in the process, it's annoying and frustrating and crappy and whatever other word you want to throw in there. But it's just part of the journey. So it's like in certain areas of my life, such as work, I've managed to kind of detach. It's like, yeah, I do what I got to do. Last 2 weeks, I didn't make any sales. It was really stressful. This week, finally, I made a sale, but now we're Saturday, so I didn't hit my quota. And it's like, oh man, I need to make more sales so I can have more money for the wedding and pay for all expenses. And at the same time, I can unlock travel gift cards that'll help pay for, part of the trip, airfare, stuff like that. And, there's extra days off I can unlock and stuff. So I'm like, I really need to do this. But it's like, yeah, okay, power went out on one Monday. The next Monday, boom, power's out again. The day after that, internet's out. So this week, I only worked 3 days. Week before that, I only worked 3 days as well because one day was a power outage, the other day was my treatment. So it's just like all these things happen. It's like it just reminds me I have no control over anything. I have control over my beliefs, the way I react to situations. But at the end of the day, it's like I have no control of anything outside myself. And it's just, I'm slowly learning to be okay with that. Because I have this personality where I want to control everything that makes me feel safe. But more and more I realize like I have no control over anything. And once I get accustomed to that, once I accept that, it's okay. Kind of like, in the beginning, I'm like, wow, this sucks. This whole situation with cancer. But now I'm like, it doesn't matter. The universe can knock me down, bitch slap me as many times as it wants. I'm still going to get back up. Not because I'm approaching this from a fighting mindset, just because I'm not going to die. It's simply not an option for me. So I'm just going to get back up every time. That's just the way it works. So it's kind of the same thing with this. I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm supposed to learn from everything. I'm doing my best as I go along. I make the most of the situation. And I try not to beat myself up for not making a video for like 2 weeks, even though I'm said I'm going to make an effort to record more videos. And I know for me it's good. but I can't beat myself up for that. I just need to do the best in the moment.